Welcome to the latest Wax Ecstatic break. I'm your host, Matt Sammon, and boy, do we have an interesting break and conversation this week. Now, this is no ordinary break. In fact, you can see it is a big white box. It's one of those 800 count boxes, and as you can see by the lettering on the front, it is 1986 Topps, and it is not complete. Now, I don't know how you organize your cards, but when I complete a hand-collated set, I put little check marks in that box. And then I store it away, and I know that there is all 792 cards in here. Now, we're not quite there yet. In fact, here's my wish list, which I actually need to fill sometime soon. I'm probably just going to go on to eBay and find somebody that is selling these. You know, the you pick them, get 30 cards for $5 kind of things, and whatever's left over, I'll probably reaching out to you fine folks. But as you see, I've got probably about 50 cards to complete it, and here is the rest of the set. Now, 86 Topps, we've done a couple shows about that before, and in fact, when we did our last show featuring a few rack packs of 86 Topps, that was about a year ago, and it kind of sparked me to go, yeah, I should probably collect this whole set. And as I said in that podcast, it's relatively easy to collect 86 Topps. While it is a little more scarce than some of the other card sets from the 1980s, it is still very affordable. And like I said, you know, those last 50 or so cards probably will only set me back maybe $5 or $6. And that's not even including shipping and handling. But why are we talking about this nearly complete 86 Topps set? Well, because of not a big set, but a big wax pack. We're talking about the wax pack. Of course, the new book written by friend of the show, Brad Balukjian. And we had Brad back on several years ago when he was completing the writing portion of it, and he thought he was pretty close to getting it published. In fact, I remember asking him in the interview, when do you think this book will be out? And he had, alluded to probably spring of 2018. Well, it wasn't until April of 2020 that the wax pack came out, but it was well worth the wait, as Brad does an outstanding job of telling more than just baseball in this book. And of course, the best baseball books are about more than just the game of baseball. Sure, there's a central theme of tracking down the players that he finds in a pack of 1986 Topps baseball cards. And yeah, there's a nice little road trip theme as well, as he crisscrosses the country to meet up with former ball players such as Lee Mazzilli and also Gary Templeton, his childhood favorite, Don Carmen, longtime member of the Phillies, and then, of course, trying to track down the somewhat hard to track down, like Carlton Fisk and also Vincent Van Gogh. That, of course, would be, the great Vince Coleman and Dwight Gooden as well involved in that chase, too. So that's a big theme of this book, but there's a lot of underlying themes as well. And we're going to discuss some of those underlying themes with Brad, who is our special guest once again on the program, which will be coming out on this Friday, July the 17th. So we hope that you look forward to that. And if you haven't picked up the book, The Wax Pack, I highly recommend that you do it. It is on sale now. And it not only helps Brad, who went through a very lengthy process. If you go from when he came up with the idea to when it got published, it was about a 6-year time span. So it took a long, long time for Brad to realize this dream. But also this book, as I mentioned, was released in April. That was right at the beginning of the lockdowns with the COVID-19 pandemic. So Brad is one of several authors who is dealing with kind of decreased sales, or not as robust sales, I should say, because in a normal setting, Brad would be touring the country and signing these books and showing up at ballparks everywhere, where obviously he hasn't been able to do that. But we are glad to have him on the program. I was so glad I was able to read this book. It is one of my favorite baseball books, and I think it will be yours as well. Now, we're not just going to talk about the book, of course, and there's plenty about the book to talk about. Let's get back to 86 Topps, because, this isn't your ordinary pack break on the program. And part of the allure to the Wax Pack book, even though there's a lot of deeper storylines in the book, is the storylines of some of the players, the whatever happened to. And I know a lot of our listeners actually enjoy those storylines. So from my mostly complete 86 Topps set, I'm just going to pull 4 random cards here. Now, because I'm, obsessive compulsive, this is arranged from card 1 all the way to 792 here. So it's not random in the sense that I know if I pull a card from here, it's probably going to be around 350 or so. But what I'll do is I'll just pull 4 cards left to right, and we will do a little bit of a bio on those 4 players, unless it's a player that we've done before. So if it's somebody that I recall we've talked about before, I'll just put it back in and draw another name. So let's start over here. What do we got for card number 1? Sid Fernandez of the Mets. And of course, the Mets in 1986 would have quite the storybook season, and they are still providing incredible content for content creators and broadcasters everywhere. I was musing about the 86 Mets recently because there's a new 30 for 30 that's coming out. I think a multi-part 30 for 30, and the 86 Mets are just the gift that keeps on giving. All right, let's go a little closer to the middle. Let's just pull this one here. All right, Jerry Davis of the Padres. Let's go a little bit back here. That's a team leader card. I don't want that. What do we got here? By pure chance, Don Carmen. And do you know what? Just for this show, we're going to look at Don Carmen, who is a central figure of the Wax Pack book, and also is, an interesting story. So it's, what do you know of these 700 or so cards I should pull? Don Carmen, Brad Balukjian's favorite player. Imagine that. All right, and then let me get one here closer to the back. Okay, well, we all know the story of Pete Rose. And it's kind of ironic that the Pete Rose story is so big of the 86 Topps story, because you've got the breaking of Ty Cobb's hit record the year before. And you not only have the Pete Rose manager card, you've got the Pete Rose player card, and let me just pull a couple from the very beginning of the set. So there's the Pete Rose player card, which was number 1 in 1986. But then Topps did the entire Pete Rose parade of cards as a tribute to him at the very beginning of the set. Not all that different from what they did with Hank Aaron when he broke Babe Ruth's career home run record back in 1974 that he led off the 1975 set. Now, normally I wouldn't say, oh, well, we should put this back. But we all know the Pete Rose story. I will bring him up in the podcast, though, because, again, he was a central part to the 1986 Topps set. But for the bios, we're going to pick somebody else. So I'm going to pick, let's see, from here we've got the Penguin, Ron Cey. We may have done Ron Cey before, but just in case, we'll put him back here. So let me turn my camera this way just a little bit, pull back a little. So that is our assortment of cards. Pete Rose, we're going to banish off to the side, just like real life. So we're going to look at these 4 players here. Again, a big player in 86 with the Mets, Sid Fernandez. Ron Cey nearing the end of his career. Jerry Davis, I'm curious to find out more about him because he is definitely a common of common players. And what are the odds? Again, from 700 or so cards, here's Don Carmen, Brad Balukjian's favorite player growing up and a central part to the Wax Pack book. See, I can't hold it straight up because it's just a super big book. So, well, anyways. So we'll be talking 86 Topps in this upcoming podcast. Again, this Friday, July 17th. It'll drop at noon Eastern, and we certainly look forward to talking to Brad Balukjian as well. And diving into these random selections from my 86 Topps set. I'm your host, Matt Sammon. You've been watching the Wax Ecstatic Pack Break, or Set Break, for 86 Topps, the central focus of this upcoming podcast, along with Brad Balukjian's The Wax Pack Book.